When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Grease Goblins YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing another kind of chapter breakdown, and so this one we're going to be doing one of the Theon Greyjoy chapters, in which we kind of learn what the Greyjoy's plan is. So originally Theon is sent to the Iron Islands to kind of negotiate with his father to kind of, help the Starks out. And that does not go well if you've, read the books and stuff like that, which I'm assuming you guys all have. So yeah, before we get into the video, if you guys would like to see more of this type of content, subscribe, like, and comment. Really helps out the channel. And yeah, if you guys have another video idea you guys would like to see me do, let me know in the comments, and let's get into this one. So like I said before, Theon really is kind of kept into the dark with what the plan is for the Greyjoy fleet, because it's kind of building up, and we're seeing really they're preparing for war. We just don't know where, how, or why. And Balon Greyjoy is in my opinion, he's one of the stupidest characters in the entire books, as well as the Greyjoy family in general. They're just not a very smart family in general. They don't really understand how to gain power within Westeros. So Balon Greyjoy's plan is to try and take the north, while Robb Stark and the majority of his power is in the south. He plans to do this by taking Moat Cailin from the northern side, which is a lot easier to do, as well as taking, some little minor forts and stuff like that, like Deepwood Mott. Well, if he had, had more brain cells in his head than like 2, he would have understood that he can't really ever conquer the north. Think about it. It's too vast. It's like there's no chance that the Greyjoys ever come out in choice. They don't have the manpower, they don't have the riches, they don't have the funds to support a war effort like that. The Greyjoys, the reason they usually have to invade is kind of something like we see with the Japanese in World War II, where the reason they were invading was to kind of get the resources to fill their military, what they wanted to do with their military, right? Because they didn't have the resources like oil on Japan, so they had to get it from other places. One of the bigger reasons they attacked the United States within World War II was because the United States was putting an oil embargo on them, and they needed that oil to fund their war efforts. Very similar to the Greyjoys and the Iron Islands as a whole, they realistically can't grow their economy and stuff like that without raiding and conquering. So the whole idea that they were going to conquer the north, which is not exactly a great area to conquer if you're trying to get resources and stuff like that. So off the bat, doesn't make really a lot of sense to do that. 2, the north is easily, out of all the 7 kingdoms, probably the hardest one to take for the Greyjoys. Especially at this point, like they do kind of take the north, not really, but they do, like they hold it because of other circumstances, more or less. And the thing is, with this whole thing is, Balon Greyjoy actually believes they're going to win this, right? Now think about what actually does happen. Winterfell does fall and stuff like that, but it has nothing to do with Balon Greyjoy. That was Theon going rogue and actually having a somewhat smart plan of how to actually take the north. He just kind of gets screwed over by the Greyjoys in general, kind of abandoning him and stuff like that. But you look at on the ulterior of what Balon could have done, right? Theon was saying you could have just allied with Robb. It's not like Robb's going to be your king or whatever, but because of the pride of the Greyjoys, they reject this offer. What? The Lannister, they would have been raiding Lannisport and helping siege Casterly Rock, probably. You would have gotten way more riches, and there was way more benefits overall from raiding Lannister Westerlands than raiding the North. And also, like, if in the end, right, that they help take over Casterly Rock and they do all this stuff, and let's say Robb eventually does win and the Westerlands fall, the Greyjoys definitely would have a decent claim to go, yeah, we helped conquer this, we can take this. And it would give them a foothold within Westeros where they would be getting income and be able to get an economy for, their kingdom. because at this point they wanted to be declared as a kingdom, which they would have been. Robb was not saying they had to bend the knee or anything. He just wanted an ally, right? He was all for the Iron Islands, you know, being a kingdom or whatever. So it's just so dumb to me that Balon's like, he takes this as Robb's going to give me a crown. Robb didn't say he was going to give you a crown. Robb said he just wanted an alliance and that you guys can mutually help each other, which was true. And then you just see what ends up happening with the forces that go into the north, right? What was your plan? Like, how were you ever going to capture the Dreadfort, Carhold, the like? It just made no sense. White Harbor, like, how are you going to capture it with so few of men spread out across such a vast landmass? And the North people are some of the most stubborn people within the entire story. It's not like they're just going to surrender. Like, it was just so dumb to me, and it's something that I've always noticed. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the Iron Island stuff that happens later on in the books, like, you know, feasts and stuff like that, is really good. But this earlier stuff just shows how incompetent the Greyjoys really are. They don't see the big picture. They see the small picture. They go, oh, well, we can raid a little bit, and that's it. Like, it hurt them way more then than it did before. Like, you even go back to the Greyjoy Rebellion was a very stupid rebellion. It was a stupid rebellion. They were outnumbered, I don't know how many, probably even more than 10 to 1. And the kingdoms were united. This was the worst time to, you know, have a rebellion, right? Like, I don't know. You could have even, if you're the Greyjoys, right? You could have even just not sided with Robb right away. You could have said, you know, you could have been like, yeah, Theon, we'll give you some support, but then make no moves. And then more or less, you know, you wait till who wins, right? So, say the Lannisters win, you could, or the Lannisters start to win, you could side with them and get something out of it, right? Like, the Greyjoys just are not strong enough in general to conquer in the entirety of Westeros, unless you're doing some magic type stuff, which is what Euron's trying to do right now in the current story. And it's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to ever conquer Westeros or anything like that, but I think he will have a major impact within the story. It's just crazy to think about how stupid / incompetent the Iron Islands are when it comes to leadership. They have great fighters and stuff when it comes to sea battles and stuff like that. They're very smart when it comes to that, but anything on land, they are just stupid. Like, anything when it comes to the big political game of Westeros, they are just dumb. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I just thought it was a really interesting topic that it's just amazing how dumb Balon Greyjoy really plays out the War of the Five Kingdoms, or the Five Kings. Because you look at people that are smart, like Littlefinger, stuff like that, they gain so much out of this conflict. And then you look at others like Balon, who gains nothing, basically, when he had a major power with having a, you know, a navy. So, yeah. Thank you guys all for watching. I just wanted to talk about this, and I thought it was really interesting. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.